My name is Diana Isaacs. I'm a clinical pharmacist. I'm also the CGM program coordinator at the Cleveland Clinic Diabetes Center, where I work with tons of patients with diabetes all the time, managing their medications. And I also was the 2020 Diabetes Care and Education Specialist of the Year through ADCES. So I've had a great opportunity to be doing some presenting, and I love doing this. And so I'm very excited to talk to you today about a topic called insulin potency and managing glycemia, the role of VIVI CAP. One of the things with insulin is it's a peptide hormone drug, and that means it's very susceptible to changes in stability when exposed to different environmental factors. So how should insulin be stored? What is the gold standard? So really, before first use, meaning before a person's opened up their pen to start using it for injections, it should be refrigerated. And that's generally going to be 2 to 8 degrees Celsius or 36 to 46 degrees Fahrenheit. And this allows it to maintain the quality until the expiration date that's actually on the vial or the pen. The max temperature should not exceed 46 degrees Fahrenheit, and it should never be allowed to freeze, which I see so many patients like throw their insulin into this ice pack, and it's right next to the ice pack, and that can be dangerous because that now is being allowed to freeze. Now, this is different from once it's open. Once it's used the first time, it's actually optimal to keep it at room temperature and to not refrigerate it at that point. And so there, you're going to want to maintain a room temperature, below 25 to 30 degrees Celsius, and it should not be allowed to freeze. It should not be allowed to come into direct sunlight, and really it's not recommended to even put it back in the fridge once it's actually been opened. I think there's a lot of misconceptions out there. Many people think that their insulin always needs to be refrigerated. Many times that is actually a barrier to taking it because someone says, well, I can't keep my insulin cold, or so I'm just not going to carry it with me. And you see the people that really need insulin during the day, but don't take it because of the inconvenience. Similarly, you see people that store their insulin in the refrigerator all the time, and that can actually lead to painful, burning injections. Cold insulin does not feel great, and I find that also can be a barrier to ongoing adherence with insulin. If it's burning, a person's probably less likely to want to keep getting their doses, right? And then, of course, people on very small doses, which it's more common in people with type 1 diabetes or someone newly diagnosed. But often, their insulin is going to last longer than how many units are in there in the expiration date, but that if they keep it longer, it's not going to be as effective. And I think, we saw in the 2 examples from earlier with Adam and Julia that, real life happens. It can be kind of hard to follow these recommendations. The average ambient temperature in many regions is much higher than kind of the typical upper end of the room temperature of 30 degrees Celsius or 86 degrees Fahrenheit. Certainly in the summer here in the United States and Cleveland, it gets very, very hot. Similar in the winter, it gets well below the 2 degrees Celsius or the 36 degrees Fahrenheit. And if you're in a place like me in Cleveland, that can happen in a single month, both extremes, like in May. So we know our environment has a big impact. The other thing is not everyone has air conditioning, or, even if you have air conditioning, there can be power outages and times where it breaks. Interesting thing that's been happening now with COVID is a lot of newly homeless people. And that's, another challenge with this insulin storage. Now, I want to switch gears. I want to introduce you to the VIVI CAP, which I think at least is one potential solution to address some of this really bigger problem. So this is an FDA registered medical device. It's a replacement cap for disposable and refillable insulin pens. And basically it keeps insulin cool for a minimum of 12 hours in a constant environmental temperature that's over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So this is longer than what you would expect from daylight, daylight sun time. So it protects insulin from overheating or from freezing. And it's actually, it works for years. It doesn't have any type of maintenance or any type of charging or anything. And then there's also a temperature status indicator that you can, be reassured that the temperature is correct. So let's see what this looks like. I'm going to show you through a few different slides that I think really illustrate this concept, and I even have my demo here. So, so this is, it's called TemperaMed, this super insulation, and it's actually used in spacecraft avionics and cryotherapy and other high performance thermal insulation applications. So pretty cool. And so there's a temperature indicator light that tells the insulin temperature status, and then this TemperaMed heat absorbing phase changing material, which is commonly used in green construction, that's protecting it. And then the insulin pen is put into there. So it is protecting the inside of a pen. This is a blown up version of it. And so down here at the bottom is the insulin pen. And then here is the VIVI cap, and this is blown up. And so what it's showing is that the outside temperature could be more than 100 degrees Fahrenheit, but this insulin itself is going to be protected to stay below 86 degrees Fahrenheit, which is the upper limit of what's okay for insulin. And then there is this built-in temperature sensor. So that's this green light. So anytime, you know, you want to check on the status, right? Because you want that reassurance that the insulin is working and that it has not overheated. So that green light indicates that the temperature is in the acceptable range. And then that heat absorbing material actually automatically recharges whenever the VIVI cap is back into that ambient temperature, that room temperature. So I think one of the nice things about this is there's not maintenance, there's not charging, and you don't have to like put it in cold water or, you know, anything like that. 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Heat is blocked by the insulation and absorbed. And so like you see in here, the insulin is staying at, you know, the acceptable temperature, even though it's like super hot on the outside. And then at nighttime, it's like kind of like that nighttime is allowing it to be able to recharge. So people don't have to worry about the potency of their insulin. And so with that, I want to leave you with just there is the VIVI cap is available to order now. It's an FDA registered medical device, so it is clear through the FDA. Patients can actually order it directly without a prescription. It is $90 and there's free shipping. It is reusable and will work for a year. So this isn't the kind of thing where you're asking someone to invest every month, you know, or even every year. This is something that will work for years, and I think will be a very good option for many people. So I've included a couple links. I'm sure Jonathan will share these with you later too. You can order directly on Amazon. Also, you can order through myvivi.com. And then also what's really nice, you know, we know a lot of people are struggling. And so for those that do struggle, especially with the cost of insulin and different things, there is a program to save 35%. And so you can see that you can register for that by emailing this email here. And